stepped on the scale last week. Instead of just ruining my morning with a single number on it, it completely exposed exactly what my body is made of. Muscle, fat, water, everything. Today, I'm breaking down the Hume Body Pod. I'll show you why tracking your weight is actually a massive lie, and how getting clinical level body composition data inside your own bedroom might completely change how you approach your fitness goals. I genuinely thought I was gaining pure muscle this week. I was hitting the gym sometimes, eating the right food, and the number on my old scale was going up. Kind of. It felt great, but when I saw the actual breakdown of my body fat percentage from this body pod, I had a serious reality check. We'll get to those numbers and data in a minute. Before we dive in, a quick shout out to Hume Health for sponsoring this video and sending over the Hume Body Pod for me to test. As always, for me to remain authentic, the opinions here are my own. They just provided me this to test. Let's get into it. For decades, we've used gravity to tell us if we're healthy, right? You stand on a glass square, it tells you how heavy you are, and that's it. Sometimes the smarter ones kind of track those over time to tell you how heavy you are over a period, but generally it just tells you how heavy you are. Your weight tells you absolutely nothing about your health, right? If you drink a massive bottle of water, you gain weight. If you build muscle, you gain weight. The Hume Body Pod changes those rules. It uses these advanced sensors to send tiny, undetectable electrical signals through your body to measure resistance. And don't worry, it doesn't hurt and you don't feel a thing. It basically can figure out exactly what's going on under your skin. It measures your skeletal muscle mass, your visceral fat, your water retention, and your resting metabolic rate. It completely blew my mind. It turns that single frustrating number into an easy to understand, complete biological dashboard. Even for me, this is where it gets incredibly powerful. When I first stepped onto the pod, the app synced instantly. After a few frequent weigh-ins, it showed me my body fat percentage. Like I said earlier, I thought I was putting on muscle. Yeah, right, nice thinking, Maz. The pod revealed that about half the weight I gained was actually just fat. It was a hard pill to swallow. However, it was exactly the data I needed. Just like many people, a normal scale that showed me just my weight, I wouldn't have changed anything. I would have kept doing the exact same workout routine, completely blind to the reality. Instead, I tweaked my diet. I dropped some unnecessary carbs, bye-bye bread. A few days later, I stepped back on the pod, but overall weight hadn't changed that much. But my body fat percentage dropped slightly and my muscle mass went up. For me, that was magic right here. It proved to me that I was making progress even when the main number on the scale refused to move. If you're tracking your body over time, the data has to be rock solid, right? If a scale jumps around wildly day to day, you can't really understand or even trust the trends to tell you if your diet or workout are actually working. I've been using the Withings Smart Scale for a while now, probably a few years, and I decided to test them side by side. The base weight readings between my old Smart Scale and the Hume Body Pod were practically identical. That proves the Hume is incredibly accurate and consistent with its weigh-ins. The massive difference though is the level of insight. My old Smart Scale gave me base numbers and tracked my weight over time, but the Hume ecosystem actually breaks those down and tells you what those numbers mean. It's a huge thing for me because just giving me numbers practically doesn't tell me anything. You don't need to obsess over this every single morning like sometimes I've done. The best way to use the Body Pod is to look at the trends. The Hume app that I pair seamlessly with, by the way, organizes all this complex data brilliantly. It uses simple color coding to show you if your visceral fat, which is basically the dangerous fat around your organs, is in a healthy range. If your biological age is higher than your actual age, it's a massive wake-up call to change your habits. The app also lets you generate custom health progress reports. Basically what you do is you pick your start date and today's date, and it gives you a complete timeline of your progress. It doesn't just throw raw numbers at you, it actually tells you if your levels are healthy, high, or standard. You can even export these straight to a doctor or a nutritionist, which I think is a brilliant feature. I also genuinely love the visual representation of your body because I'm quite a visual person. So essentially it breaks down your fat percentage and muscle mass for each specific area. You can see exactly what's happening to your right arm, to your left leg, your trunk. Now, obviously my trunk absolutely has a six-pack. It's just currently hidden under a solid layer of insulation. But jokes aside, seeing this visually is a massive help. It shows me exactly where I need to focus my exercises when I go to the gym. The app also plots your results against other Hume users of similar age. Personally, I don't really care too much about that because I'm just running my own race at this point. But I know a lot of people love having that benchmark to see how they stack up and what they should be working towards. So that data is there if you need it. All this data is broken down into clean, understandable categories: body composition, fat distribution, hydration, and metabolic indicators. If that sounds overwhelming like it did to me initially, don't panic. You just stick to the main numbers. The brilliant part is you can tap on any of these metrics to understand exactly what they mean. For example, if you click into subcutaneous fat mass, which is a bit of a mouthful to say, I'm not even sure if I even said that right. You don't want to know how many takes it took me to say that correctly. Anyway, it explains that this is simply the fat stored directly under your skin. So if you pinch mine, as you can see, there's not that much to pinch. Probably means I've got a lot of muscle, but we're not getting into that today. Jokes aside, there's this really cool privacy feature that I just want to touch upon. Your body is personal. If you want to show your mate your overall progress, but you want to keep certain numbers private, you can actually hide specific metrics on the screen. It's a small detail, but it shows that Hume actually thought about how people use this in the real world. You start to realize how a heavy weekend of eating affects your water retention by Monday. You see how consistent strength training slowly pushes your muscle mass over a month. It completely gamifies your health in the best possible way. Normally, to get this level of detail, you have to book an appointment at a clinic or a high-end gym to use a professional DEXA scanner or an inBody machine. You have to pay per scan. It's incredibly inconvenient and expensive, and you have to do it in front of a stranger. The Body Pod puts that technology directly into your house. You step out the shower and stand on it for 10 seconds, holding the sensors that pulls out of it, and you're done. When you pair this data with the sleep and recovery insights from the Hume Band, suddenly you have a 360-degree view of your health. You know how you're resting, you know exactly what your physical composition is doing in response. Don't worry, I'll be covering the Hume Band in a later video, so make sure you subscribe for that when it comes out. So, the real question is, should you actually buy one? If you want to just track your weight over a period or weigh your suitcase before a budget flight, then don't buy this. There are much cheaper scales out there that you can pick up from the supermarket. But if you're genuinely serious about your health, if you're hitting the gym, changing your diet, and want to know if the hard work is actually paying off, the Hume Body Pod is brilliant. You don't just have to rely on doing this in the mirror. It completely stops the guesswork. You get clinical level data right in your own bathroom, or bedroom in my case. And most importantly, you actually own the device without being held hostage by a monthly subscription. Honestly, when you pair it with the Hume Band, you finally get the complete picture. You can track your sleep and recovery at night. You see the actual physical results on the scale in the morning. It makes taking care of yourself a lot less confusing and a lot more straightforward. If you're serious about transforming your body, you have to stop relying on useless numbers. You need the full picture. I've actually managed to speak to Hume and secured a great discount for you guys. Just click the link in the description below and use the code, and you'll be able to get the Hume Body Pod in your home. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but I may get a small commission. Hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. It's a nice change from the phones and the earbuds I've been testing lately. And for me, I guess it was really eye-opening, and I realized how important health is. And this device actually gives you a great insight into those. I'm Maz, and this is MazTechCentral, where I like to keep tech simple and accessible for everyone. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care and stay healthy.